Hello again, it's Fred
And Linda.
with New Venture, New Day, with another update on our Westward Ho travels. Right now we are sitting in downtown Salt Lake City waiting for a train back to the airport to catch a shuttle to the hotel. We started out this morning wondering what in the world are we going to do all day in Salt Lake City. And as it turns out, we had to break ourselves away from what we were doing so we can get back and catch the shuttle. We found all sorts of interesting things to do that we want to share with you in this video that you might find interesting if you ever get to Salt Lake City. What did you think?
Oh, it was a wonderful day. It's amazing how we do manage to find things to keep us busy and interested.
Get ready. We're going to share these highlights. So with that, let's get started. We are now on the transit system in Utah, going from the airport to downtown. Discovered this looking online, and this is going to be a lot easier than trying to drive and park. Very convenient. Shuttle from the hotel here, and away we go. Tickets are available right at kiosks, right at the train itself. The tram is clean, modern, and comfortable, and rolls right along through the airport grounds. It goes past the large outdoor parking area of the airport and proceeds past some of the cityscape, and before long, roughly 15 minutes, you are at downtown Salt Lake City. We were at our stop to go to the temple grounds. As the tram pulled away to its next destination, we glanced over to where we were, our address, keep our bearings, and then within a short walking distance was the temple square. We are now in the square. Tabernacle is over here with a lot of scaffolding, a little seating area, statues. I don't know very much about LDS other than some cursory information I've read over the years, and I was here as a kid, maybe somewhere between 55 and 60 years ago. This is not at all like I remember it. I think a lot has changed here since then. I can't speak to the history of any of this. I have to look it up. Beautiful gardens. It's somewhat of an oasis in the middle of what has become a very busy and metropolitan place. The barricades are up to prevent you from getting over here. And as you can see, there is a lot of scaffolding. People coming in and out, doing a lot of work. Visitors are welcome inside the Tabernacle. We went inside. There was a small tour group there and some other individuals looking it over, and there was some work going on that day up by the organ. I remember seeing that as a kid up in the choir area. The massive organ is very impressive to look at. We were curious about all the construction work going on, took a walk over to the barricade and started reading about the activities going on there. Got our initial view of the scaffolding and work going on, and we'll get a better view of that a little bit later in the video from a different angle.
And here's where we're standing right now.
More beautiful garden area. And another view of the construction over here. More signs and statues throughout the garden tell the story of the founding of the Mormon faith. This display was very interesting in that it depicts when the temple was first constructed and the celebration that accompanied the completion of that temple, the temple that's now under reconstruction. Nothing is taken for granted here on these grounds. Even the restroom area is worth taking a look at. It's very beautifully appointed inside the lobby area. We left the temple grounds, crossed the street, and took a look at some of the other things that are part of the entire temple square area to decide what we wanted to take a look at next as part of the temple square experience, including this church history museum. The building that caught our attention was the conference center. What we read, it sounded very impressive, so we decided to take a look And as you look at this chart, you can see it's multi-layered with a lot of different purposes and a big garden on the roof that we wanted to take a look at. We went inside and took a look around the very large and well-appointed lobby area and made our way to the information desk, where we got a lot of great helpful information on things to look for on our walk through. The busts and plaques and other information available to look at tell a complete story of the LDS Mormon Church, its founding, and how it developed over the years. Eventually we made our way up to the 4th floor to get a look firsthand at the rooftop gardens. Walking out into the rooftop area, we were treated to a very impressive view of the cityscape, the area surrounding the conference center, looking directly over at the Temple Square, and an excellent view of the construction work that was going on the temple. The temple is being reinforced to protect it from seismic activity, something that's been happening in recent years. It's a multi-year project, and it's quite impressive to look at the placards up here and read about what has and will be done on the temple itself. And here's a really good view of the activity going on. A lot of people, a lot of equipment. And here's how the isolation is supposed to work to protect the temple in case there is an earthquake. We proceeded to make our way from the Temple Square up to the state capitol, following a rather strenuous path up a very steep hill. There is the state capitol, but our first stop was going to be the Utah Visitor Information Center, housed in the old council hall. The building is both an information center and it has a gift shop inside. Here we were treated with more general information about the state of Utah and some of the significant events that took place as the state developed and grew over the years. It isn't a large gift shop, but it does have quite a few interesting items to take a look at. We then headed across the street to the state capitol building and spent some time in there. Again, a place filled with all kinds of information about the history of the state of Utah. A lot of things for adults and kids alike to take a look at. Another popular feature at many of the places we visited on our trip is a well-done video presentation talking about the history of the place you are visiting. There appeared to be some renovation work going on at the Capitol building, but nonetheless there were a lot of great displays in place, historical information, another great relief map showing the Salt Lake area, the Great Salt Lake itself, and its relationship to the city. The film industry is highlighted here again. Outside the east end of the Capitol is a courtyard area with statues, signs depicting more of the pioneers and the settlers, events that took place. Very comfortable spot. We sat here for a little while and took it all in. There's a nice view, talks about some of the things that were done to protect the area in the past. To the west of the Capitol is the Pioneer Museum. We're going to take a look at that. The full name is the Pioneer Memorial Museum, and it's celebrating its 75th year. Here's a statue dedicated to one of the pioneer women. After a very cordial and informative greeting, we were directed to start our self-tour downstairs, looking at a lot of artifacts from the initial settling of the area, what the pioneers brought with them, and how they got across the country to get settled here, including firearms that were used for protection and hunting, and all sorts of devices and things that were needed to settle the area back in the late 1800s. Just a fabulous collection of things. There are several displays throughout the museum where behind glass are recreations of typical scenes from stores and homes, oftentimes depicting social settings, a variety of things to get a good glimpse of what life was like when the pioneers settled the area. A lot of great period furniture, things that have been collected over the years from families. In addition to these displays, there are larger things that they had, looms and so forth, for weaving, railroad track section, and commemorating the railroad going through, other fabulous artifacts. There's a whole section in the back that's 2 stories where you can look at more large things, furniture, wagons that were used. This is an upstairs area of that back section that we walked through, full of wagons, and some with a lot of history behind them, used in parades, used to transport goods. A lot of stories behind all of this stuff. Here's an entire section dedicated to the various chairs that were used in the homes. And again, some more wagons back in the corner. This one had a special story to it. And the fire wagon used in Salt Lake City, and story about the original fire department, uniforms worn, some of the fire chiefs in the past, some of their equipment. Quite a collection of stuff. Then we made our way through the rest of the museum, and again, it's lined with portraits of the pioneers that settled the area, dishware that was used in the homes, just some beautiful, beautiful dishware, dolls and figurines, things that were used by the families and donated later. And the families that donated this is oftentimes a plaque that talks about them and what they donated, clothes that were worn in the period. You get a very, very good picture of life back in the days when this area was settled. Bedroom furniture, just amazing, all the different beds that are there, and quilts. My wife is a quilter and just fascinated with all the quilts that were available to see, and how they did all of that quilting by hand. There's a whole room just full of quilts along with the beds. Coming back from the Capitol and museum area, a lot easier than going up was. Pretty steep. Finally, following up on a recommendation made while we were at the Pioneer Museum, we stopped at the Family Search Library, where we were enthusiastically shown all the resources they have available for genealogy research. After a full day of checking out the sites on Temple Square and the museums, we were back on the tram and on our way back to our hotel via the airport shuttle. Located right by the terminal entrance. Parks right here.
Train to West Valley is scheduled to depart in 2 minutes.
Just a
Please remove that
short walk and go to the shuttle. We called the hotel desk to find out which stop we should wait at for our shuttle, and then watch the shuttles come and go as we waited for our shuttle to finally show up and take us back to the hotel. As we catch a glimpse of the Great Salt Lake itself, I want to thank you all for watching this video, joining us on our tour of Salt Lake City. If you enjoyed it, please click like and consider subscribing, and then you'll be notified when our next video on our Westward Ho adventure is posted to YouTube. Thanks for watching, and take care.